Are coached by Tim Flynn. He's assisted by Cliff Moore, Mitchell Port, and Cody Walters.
On February 9th, 2003, the West Virginia Mountaineers defeated the Virginia Tech Hokies 36-12 at the WVU Coliseum. Little did we know it would take another 15 years for the two rivals to meet again on this mat. One thing that hasn't dimmed over time, though, the pride and bragging rights that comes from winning the Black Diamond Brawl. That's what we'll have today as West Virginia and Virginia Tech renew their rivalry. Michael Minnick alongside Tony Honorado. And Tony, this is going to be a tough challenge for West Virginia right off the bat.
Well, incredibly tough,
yeah.
Yes. So, it's Kiussis versus Lewis, and Lewis just off a Junior World title not very long ago. So what does that mean? Kiussis is going to have to be way on top of his game.
Lewis entering at 10-2, redshirt freshman from Bound Brook, New Jersey, and Kiussis entering with a record of 9-3, sophomore from Brunswick, Ohio. So really one of the Mountaineers' veteran guys. So obviously you're thinking if we can get a good result here, maybe it sets the tone for the whole match.
Well, what he definitely wants to do, look for your opportunities to score, and you just got to wrestle. Doesn't really matter. People react and respond certain ways. You got to play good defense so you can defend well, and you got to look for your opportunities to attack. Now, usually when you're wrestling somebody who's ranked pretty well or has had success, particularly at the international level, the openings are not going to be real big, and you're going to have to take advantage of them. You're going to have to anticipate them a little bit and create them. They're just not going to give them to you.
Kiussis in the blue singlet with gold Mountaineer on the side, and the orange for Virginia Tech. And Mekhi Lewis, ranked 8th in the nation, entering this match.
So here's what I don't get, all right? They're in orange, we're in blue, yet we still have to wear anklets to determine that one is green and one is red. Okay.
Yeah, because orange and blue are so similar.
They're
it's hard
very
to tell
similar.
them apart.
It's really hard to tell them apart, yes.
Kiussis doing his job so far.
Well, and he got called for stalling. And Lewis's work rate's a little higher, and Kiussis sort of blocking and defending, right? Because, again, Lewis is going to try to use that speed and quickness that he has to his advantage, and Kiussis is trying to clamp down on that so that he doesn't have opportunities to move in space. It's just that, yeah, you do have to create some offensive advantages, but I got to be honest with you, you don't see that stall called super fast oftentimes in the first period, and sometimes I'm wondering if that was as there's a nice single leg and a takedown finish, if that's part of what happens when you're ranked high and you just won a Junior World title.
Got a point for the stall and then 2 points for that takedown. So it's 3-0 right now in favor of Mekhi Lewis here in the first period. First match of the day between West Virginia and Virginia Tech here at 165 pounds. West Virginia trying to bounce back from a rough weekend at Pitt where Christian Monserrat was the only Mountaineer to win.
Yeah, they just look plain terrible. And, so yeah, they had finals and so was every other team in the country, and you got to be disciplined and prepared and ready to go, and they obviously weren't, and I'm sure that Coach Flynn and the staff were not real happy with with the preparation and the end result from Saturday, and you got a opportunity today to bounce back a little bit and against really a more difficult opponent in Virginia Tech.
And we were chuckling before the match, but also a little bit scared because when we saw the first initial lineups, there was an oar for every single weight position for West Virginia, which sends a pretty strong message of like your position is not secure no matter how much experience you have. You have to prove it on the mat.
Well, I think some of that too is about the discipline of making weight and being ready to go, right? And if you're going to be here, this is technically kind of over break, so we're going to keep you here over break to get prepared for this match. And you got to make yourself ready to go because you never know when you're going to be needed.
Lewis leading 3-0 on top to begin this second period. Up to a minute 15 of riding time in favor of the redshirt freshman for Virginia Tech.
Hips up, wrestle!
Nice job by Kiussis, just doing keeping his hip up, being able to not be pulled through all the way from that 2-on-1. And I didn't think that you were allowed to sort of step across both of his back legs and pull him backwards like that. I see it happen all the time, but I don't know. I'm not exactly sure that you're supposed to be able to do that, even though the officials can let that go.
Jake Hawks is our referee today, circling the pair on the mat here right now as Kiussis tries to escape here in the second period.
And they're doing a nice job on top, right? I mean, Kiussis has been defending well in the sense that he hasn't left a lot of openings and hasn't really allowed himself to be turned, but really hasn't been able to do anything that has looked like a potential escape. And finally try to get to his feet a little bit, and I wouldn't be surprised if Lewis just sort of cuts him loose if he's not able. There's that same attempt at to get a tilt from that sort of back heel.
As you mentioned, the junior world champion in 2018.
And there's a warning for stalling. So I think there's going to be a near fall. There's going to be a 4-point near fall. That's going to spread the score out quite a bit. So already you're in the major decision range, going with 3 minutes of riding time going into the third period. And Kiussis hasn't been able to generate anything that looks like putting Lewis in some situation where he thought that he might give up some points or some score.
3 minutes and 9 seconds of riding time in favor of Lewis as well, so that point's locked up too.
Right, so yeah, you can count that one. The math goes that way, right? It's no matter what happens, he's still going to have 1 minute and 9 seconds of riding time.
We've established that's not my strength, but
yeah.
So far I'm 1 for 1.
Stay up, stay up, stay up, stay up, stay up.
See Lewis with good job. Wow, that was fast, but accurate. He's got to do something to return him to the mat or let him go, and he didn't do either one of them and got warned for stalling again, which gives up another warning stalling point. And Lewis just offensive and the continued attack, right? I mean, it's not just one to stop something, but when you see Lewis sort of chain them together and continue the attack, and finally gets himself the takedown. So now we're looking at the potential of a technical fall here. So you got 13 basically on board. You're only looking at a couple more points. And if he can turn them.
And again, Kiussis is 9-3 this year. This is, a very impressive performance from Lewis against a guy who's had a successful season so far for West Virginia. On the board now with an escape.
Right. So you could play the take him down, let him up game.
Two quick ones, two quick takedowns. Yes. Run. Good.
Just nice changes of direction. Kiussis still trying to fight. Just a nice job of just clubbing him as he goes across and gets a 2-point takedown. So it's either going to be a turn here or he's going to let him up real quick and try to take him down with the last 30 seconds of the match in order to get a technical fall.
Didn't let him go and he pushed him out. So it's 14-2 and we'll be back to neutral.
So if he takes him down and rides him out, then you're looking at the technical fall. So Kiussis' job is to not give up a takedown, but he's also got to watch the warning for stalling. You got to watch getting dumped here. He's going to try to stay heavy on that. But now he got down underneath. So there's a reason that you win a junior world title, but he does a nice job of finishing the period out and not giving up a technical fall. So we're only going to go 4, which sounds like not so great, right? But these are Virginia Tech in this part of their lineup from 65 on through heavyweight. There's only one guy not